Enjoyed this comment on YouTube. Well, my lord, I've never heard anyone whine about winning in all my life. Well, let's take a gander at this, shall we?
Okay.
So right now, the Blazers have the 9th worst record in the NBA.
That would be correct, Bob.
That would be correct. So if you have the 9th worst record in the NBA, which you were all but certain to finish in, now at this point you're a game and a half behind or ahead, depending on how you want to define it, the San Antonio Spurs. You're probably not going to move down any further. That's likely where you're going to end up. History will tell us with the 9th worst record, you're likely going to end up right around the 9th overall pick in the draft. Very little chance of movement.
I'm be curious to see what the reaction, not to interrupt you there, is.
Yeah.
If they literally stay exactly where they're at in the draft odds. Because the sense I get from people that might be echoing that sentiment about you getting mad about wins, I think they're living in a world where they enjoy watching the team win, but also they're telling themselves they're going to be up in the lottery at the top. And it's just going to be, is there going to be a, oh my God, the 9th pick? Like, I just wonder if there's, not that, I totally get it. I hear people say, like, you
I don't think they
the
understand
wins,
how many teams are truly crappy in the East.
Well, I just like, what is the reaction going to be, I
Right.
guess, from the fans that are happy and cool with the
And
wins if you stay at 9? Is it going to be, oh my God, I thought minimum we'd get to 6.
Wait a minute. I thought we'd have a top 7 pick at least.
No.
And if we win it, then cool. But
and then
I
you
just
start looking at the draft projections and
you're
all
like,
those sorts of things. It's like,
is that guy that's
Yeah.
projected to be in that range going to change your franchise, like, fundamentally?
So here are the odds right now. If you end up with the 9th worst record, which is where they're at, you have a 4.5% chance at the number 1 overall pick.
Not great.
You have a 4.8% chance at the number 2 pick, a 5.2% chance at the number 3 pick, or a 5.7% chance at the number 4 pick. Those are your chances. You have a 50.7% chance to end up with the 9th pick in the draft. So it's basically a flip of the coin that you stay exactly where you are. There is a 25% chance that you move back a pick and you end up drafting 10th. There is a 3% chance you end up drafting 11th. So there's just as much of a chance you end up with the 11th overall pick, essentially,
That would be a
as the number 1
disaster.
overall pick in the draft. This is where I just chuckle at this notion. This team has been better than we imagined this year, largely because they held on to veterans and didn't get rid of them when many of us said going into the year you should have. Here is just I'm just going to pull up a random mock draft. Here are the names. How many of these move your needle? Projected 6th overall pick, Jeremiah Fears, point guard from Oklahoma.
Well, you don't need that.
Okay. How do you say the Duke center's name? Malak? How do you say his last name?
Malawach.
Malawach. Duke center, number 7.
I talked
projected.
about Malawach with some people that
You
follow
take centers
college
and back-to-back
basketball.
top 10 picks?
He's like a half of a Clint Capella, and I just like, that doesn't do anything for the Blazers.
I think you go back-to-back centers with your top 10 picks. Trey Johnson, shooting guard from Texas, 8th overall. I will continue. Jace Richardson, the shooting guard from Michigan State. That's
He's
who in
athletic,
this
kinda carried
mock literally
Michigan
is
State.
mocked to Portland in this draft.
Kind of carried Michigan State, but again, you kind of have to ask
It's a
yourself.
6'3", 185 guard.
Yeah.
Con Knippel,
His dad
10th
was
to
really
Miami.
good, though, wasn't he?
His dad was
God,
awesome.
what a great dunker.
His dad was awesome. Con Knippel.
Con Knippel's a good guy. He is not a franchise carrying player to me. He is a Joe Ingles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's a little disrespectful, but like, he's an athletic.
Joe Ingles has had a good career.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, he
Yeah.
kind of does a lot of things for your team. He's going
Right.
to do whatever it takes, I think, when he's out there.
I love that we have to be like that. Mocks can be disrespectful of good players. I saw this in the NFL the other day where somebody mocked Shador to Andy Dalton, and people were like, "How dare you do that?" Man, Andy Dalton. I mean,
I've seen Kirk Cousins comps with Shador, and I'm like, that's
not a bad
most
career.
teams would sign up for Kirk Cousins.
He's been
I
a
think.
starting level quarterback.
Yeah.
He's been in the league for 10 years. He's made a lot of money. Is it not everybody's going to be Patrick Mahomes? 11 is Colin Murray Boyles, the power forward from South Carolina.
Can't pretend to act like I watched a whole lot of his games.
Some name I can't pronounce of a point guard from Illinois, Kasparis.
Oh, that's the tall kid. That's the 6'6" kid. That kid I'd get excited
That's the 6'6"
about.
kid from Illinois.
It's kind of another
Mock
Denny.
12th. Okay.
It's kind of another Denny. It's a ball handling kind of combo guard.
Okay.
You know, I don't know what his ceiling will be in the NBA, but it's somebody I've seen a little bit. Yeah.
An international kid from France who I can't pronounce his name, 6'9", projected to go 13th. Asa Newell from Georgia, projected to go
Not as high
14th.
on Asa Newell.
6'11", power forward. Like this is the larger
Derek
point.
Queen.
Derek Queen might have been a little bit higher in this mock. I'll see. I just started at 6 because I don't think you're going to end up with a pick higher
I
than
think
that.
we get your point.
This is my point. Is that if you want to, Derek Queen, by the way, they haven't projected 5th in this mock. So every mock's going to be different. He might be there available. But again, that's a power forward center. Are you going to go back-to-back years power forward center with Donovan Clingan?
Well, you would if you had the number 1 pick. You'd take a power forward.
Yeah, but I don't view Cooper Flagg as, I know he will play power forward in the NBA because of his size. I don't view him as a, I don't know.
You're talking about Derek Queen, post up in the post, kind of an old school throwback.
I view Cooper Flagg
mid-range.
as a positionless star of a guy that's like, you're LeBron, you're 6'9", but you can run the point. He's not a traditional power forward, if you will. Now, the league is trending away from that, and if Jeremy Grant's still on the roster next year, right? So
probably. This
is my point about bemoaning wins, is that your way and your path out of this is with one of these guys likely near the top. Dylan Harper, Cooper Flagg, look in the top 4. Edgecombe, who's projected at 3 in this. Ace Bailey, who's projected 4.
I think you can probably look. It'd be interesting to go look at the Mike Schmidt's picks since he became one of the assistant general managers here. This is just a theory. There could be no validity to this. My read of the situation in Portland is I feel like a lot of the player stuff, Mike Schmidt's driven. That Joe trusts him immensely with that talent evaluation. And so you just have to look at the draft. You look at right around where they're hovering, and you have to ask yourself who fits the criteria or the kind of talent that a Schmitz likes. Now, you could say, well, Sprague, it's all over the place based on this guy and that guy. No doubt. But where you're at and what the mocks are saying, who kind of falls into it? You mentioned the kid from Illinois.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Mike Schmitz had a video on Denny Avdia in the draft. Loved him.
He did.
Look who traded for Denny Avdia.
Yeah, they went and found him.
And that kid got a little bit of that stuff. And he's not quite as tall as Denny. What is he, 6'6" listed?
Yeah, I think he's listed at 6'6".
But I think you look at where you think Mike Schmitz would be looking, because I think where all of that's going to reside.
Yeah, look, you want to be the fan that wants to cheer for wins. We've had this debate a million times. I'm not gonna back off of this take, and I think in the long run I'll end up being proven right. But time will tell. Maybe we shock the world and have
we win the draft, and then we tell you who that 7th.
We have the 9th worst odds, and then hey, look at that, we won the number 1 overall pick with our 4% chance. Massive difference, by the way. San Antonio has nearly double the odds at the not double, but almost double. The number 1 pick, number 2 pick, number 3 pick, and number 4 pick.
And they're 1 slot ahead of you?
And they're 1 slot ahead of you. They also have a 35% chance of the number 8 pick. So, if the NBA
wanted to fix it, man, Cooper Flagg with Wemby would be electric.
It'd be unbelievable. And look, we can debate the system and whether this is right or wrong, and I totally understand that. Your take earlier this week about get rid of this lottery crap and just have it be you're not in the playoffs, you have the same percentage chance. I'm all for that, but these are the rules. This is the system, and to not play by them, to me, is incredibly short-sighted and incredibly foolish.